everyone, today I'll be reading Becoming Muhammad Ali by James Patterson and Kwame Alexander, but I'll only be reading pages 1 to page 20. So let's get started. Round 1. I remember everything. You probably would have too. That night was a piece of American history. The Clay family phone was dusky black with a rotary dial, and it sat on a wooden table in the neat-as-a-pin living room of the little house on Grand Avenue in Louisville, Kentucky. Some 20 of us were crammed like sardines into the room, waiting for that phone to ring. Waiting for Cassius to call home. It was February night in 1958, and I remember it like it was yesterday. My best friend Cassius was 300 miles north in Chicago, and that night he was fighting for a championship in the Golden Gloves boxing tournament. Cassius wasn't a professional yet, just an amateur, tall but a little skinny and a lot raw, only 16 years old, like me. I'm Lucius, by the way. Nice to meet you. You can call me Lucky. All my friends do. Cassius already won plenty of bouts all over Kentucky, but the Chicago Golden Gloves was the big time. When he had won there, and we had all knew he would, it would be lights out. From now on, people everywhere would know the name Cassius Clay, and so we waited for the phone to ring. I remember that living room was so packed with family and friends and neighbors that we could hardly move. The smell of roast chicken and sweet potato pie and cheese grits mixed with the smell of paint and turpentine. Mr. Clay, Cassius' dad, who everybody called Cash, was a sign and billboard painter, and he kept his work supplies right there in the house. "Mrs. Clay," somebody called out, "when that boy of yours gets famous, he ought to buy you a bigger house." "Oh, you know he will," she answered. Then she looked right at me. "Isn't that right, Lucius?" "Yes, ma'am, you know it is. Cassius promised you a big house." I remember that Mrs. Clay was too nervous to eat, but she wasn't too nervous to talk about how proud she was. "My Cassius did everything early," she was saying to a group of ladies. "He crawled early, talked early, walked on his toes like a dancer." The ladies all laughed, as if they hadn't heard that story 100 times before. But Mrs. Clay just couldn't help it. Cassius always told her he was bound to be the greatest, with a capital G, and she believed it with all her heart. So did I. So did everybody in Louisville's West End. "Come on, phone, ring-a-ding, ding-ding." The men and boys around the room, including Cassius' little brother, Rudy, looked at one another with big grins and made punching motions with their fists. The big fight should be over by now. Under those bright lights in the middle of that huge Chicago stadium, Cassius would be standing tall in the ring with one hand over his head like always, his opponent next to him with head bowed down in defeat. Then the phone rang. It was Cassius with news about the fight, and he told it like only Cassius could tell the story. This starts the part where Cassius is telling the story to us. So let's continue. Before the fight, a reporter asked me if I thought I was as good as Joe Louis or Sugar Ray was at my age. And I told him, "I don't think I'm as good. I'm better. Got more flow than Joe, more sleigh than Ray. I'm sweeter, stronger, and faster. As a matter of fact, I'm so fast I can't even catch myself." Cassius Clay versus Alex Watt, February 24th, 1958. Here's how it all went down. The bell rang in Chicago Stadium, and I could barely see the lightweight rush me through the rank cigar smoke that filled the arena. In the first round, he threw punches like pitches, fast and straight, striking air and striking out. So I played peekaboo in the second, sending quick jabs to his head. "You ain't ready for Cassius," I whispered. I shook him up with the left and took him down hard in the third. He sure wasn't ready, but neither was I, when I found out who I was fighting next. Cassius Clay versus Francis Turley, February 25th, 1958. Frank Turley was a cowboy from Montana, meaner looking than an angry ox, with fists even meaner. They said he broke a guy's nose with a left jab, then smiled when the joker went tumbling out of the ring, blood spurting every which way. "I'ma lick you good, boss," he said, winking at me before the bell rang, and I believed that he believed he would. Knockout. We traded punches like baseball cards. Him, a wild Mustang, me, a Luciville slugger. Back and forth, left and right, rough and rugged, still he cornered me with 2 lucky shots to the jaw that felt like kicks from a mule and sent me tumbling to the mat, wondering if I should just stay there. Long count. 1. While I lay there, the referee standing over me, counting to 10 to see if I would get up. I wish my father was sitting ringside shouting my name. 2. I thought about home, about 3302 Grand Avenue, and playing football in the backyard with Rudy. And 3. The Montgomery kids next door, and who was going to babysit them now that I was a boxer. 4. And whether Lucky bought the new Superman like he promised. 5. I thought about my granddaddy Herman's story about Tom the Slave. 6. I thought about how boxing was going to set me free, set us all free. And 7. What I'd ask Mama Bird to cook for my celebration dinner after I got up. And 8. Whoop this cowboy from Montana and advanced to the semifinals of the 1958 Golden Gloves Championship. Celebration dinner menu. 2 orders of veal, 3 slices of white bread, a bowl of cornbread dressing, 1 large green salad, a bowl of chili, scrambled eggs, cheese grits, baked chicken with baked potato, 2 pieces of pecan pie, 5 scoops of strawberry ice cream, and a great big old glass of OJ. I jumped up on 9, and Frank kept swinging like a lumberjack, trying to knock down a tree. But I kept standing, kept sticking, kept moving like a mighty wind till the final bell rang and the judges unanimously called out my name for the win. Cassius Clay versus Kent Green, February 26, 1958, Golden Gloves semifinals. I was a little weary from hanging out the night before, but that didn't shake my confidence when I stepped into the ring, gliding like a bomber jet and launching punches like missiles. The thing was, Kent Green was a tank, and he just brushed off my attack like you would a pesky fly at a picnic. The evening paper read, the 16-year-old pugilist from Luciville, with his quick feet and a loud mouth, showed promise in his first 2 fights, but got outboxed by the older, more seasoned, hard-punching Kent Green. On the phone with Lucky. I might have lost, but I'm still the boss. I lost my stride, but not my pride. I'm still here, and yeah, I'm coming home. But this dream I got is set in stone. To the best in the hemisphere, to win the Golden Gloves next year. How do I know? 'Cause Cassius is courageous, tenacious, and one day he'll be the greatest. You hear that, Lucky? I'm coming home. Part 2, or Round 2, coming soon.